Hey everybody, it is Phil Cavalcanto with the Cavalcanto team and Coldwell Banker Preferred. I am bringing you another interview in our interview series. Local business people kind of telling us not only about their business, but also what's happening DC time or during COVID time, if you will. So join us today. It's Abraham Reyes Pardo, who is actually the Director of Housing with the Urban League. And he's here to tell you a little bit about the Urban League, as well as the Philadelphia First Home Buyers Grant, which is up to $10,000. But more importantly, how they're changing things in their business to actually address the social distancing, but still be able to provide their services. So join us. So I'd like to say hello to everyone. It's Phil Cavalcanto with the Cavalcanto team and Coldwell Banker Preferred. Continuing with our local business interview series, I'd like to introduce you to Abraham Reyes Pardo, the Director of Housing with the Urban League here in Philadelphia. So Abraham, welcome.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
It's great to have you here. As I explained to you, we're kind of interviewing local businesses really in the during COVID or DC COVID situation right now, and how it's impacting their businesses, and how these companies are, and your company is kind of addressing these for what you guys do. For those of you that may not know, I have somewhat of a business relationship with the Urban League, helping them with their housing division and potential buyers and individuals for homes, which we'll probably get into briefly today. So Abraham, real quick question for you. Tell us about your background, your business, kind of what you do with the Urban League and the housing.
Right. Thank you, Phil. Thank you. Glad to be here today. So I joined the Urban League of Philadelphia last December in the capacity of the Director of Housing. I've been in the housing counseling world industry for the past 10 years, starting at the beginning of, or halfway through the mortgage crisis that started in 2007. So I joined in this field in 2010. At the time I was working for the Fannie Mae Mortgage Help Center. So I have quite a little bit of experience.
Big background in crises. Let's put it that way.
Dealing with crisis management. So my first exposure to the industry was foreclosure prevention. That's probably my area of expertise. Most recently, working with another agency out of North Philadelphia, that's when I started working and interacting with first-time home buyers. Mm-hmm. Obviously, at a time where things are rapidly changing in Philadelphia.
Okay, very good, very good. And then with the current situation that you're in the Urban League as the Director of Housing, kind of tell me a little bit about you and your team, and how you guys spend your day and servicing your clients.
So we're one of those lucky businesses because of what we do, that we have been able to transform our day-to-day operations into virtual remote sessions. Mm-hmm. My team and I have access to different softwares and equipment that allows us to provide counseling sessions and education services for our clients, regardless of the location. If anything, we've been blessed with the opportunity to reach a broader audience by the way things have transformed in the past month or so. Mm-hmm.
Yep. Yeah, I think, and you're a prime example of it, because we're all now working very virtually. Everything we're doing, the real estate industry is virtual. Right. Here in PA, we're not deemed essential, but yet we're all able to work virtually. So it's at least helping us to meet buyers, kind of do consultations. I've got, one scheduled after, our interview today, a buyer who's coming through our grant program, which I'll ask you about in a moment. But, we're doing our, if you will, buyer consultation, where she's going to talk to me about what she wants to do when she gets the grant and what houses she's looking at. The grant program specifically is how we met. So for the Philadelphia First Home Buyers Grant. Right. Can you explain a little bit about that particular product in case somebody's, heard it, as many people have, but they don't know any of the detail? I mean, everybody seems to have heard about it, but when you ask, they go, not really sure about it.
Yeah, so so the City of Philadelphia launched their Philly First Home Initiative last June. So June of 2019 is when it was announced and the funds were released. It has been tremendously successful, in a sense, because they don't have they don't have a very narrow income restriction. So that's probably one of the key successes of this program. Typically, the down payment assistance programs come with a very low cap in terms of income. But for this particular one, you can be a one-person household and be making $75,000 per year, grossing $75,000 per year, and still qualify for that program. The key is that this program is geared to assist first-time home buyers with down payment and closing costs. It's not a $10,000 fix. It's up to 6% of the sales price, or $10,000, whichever is less. And then it will help you get your first house. You just have to be a first-time home buyer.
Okay, great. And then what is if somebody is interested in that for that particular program,
Right.
What are the steps they need to do? What are the things they need to, prepare for, and, kind of give us a quick snapshot of somebody says, hey, I might be interested in that.
So the very first step, I mean, they might have already contacted you, which is great. But one of the conditions of the grant is that you are to receive counseling prior to having signed an agreement of sale. So the very first step is to engage with one of the participating counseling agencies. The Urban League of Philadelphia happens to be one of those. So once you have attended a 4-hour class, that is a general group introductory session, we bring you back in for a face-to-face consultation, and your housing counselor will be helping you assess and determine your eligibility for the grant. Okay. We do the pre-screening, we do the processing. The City of Philadelphia does if the equivalent to underwriting that grant and disbursing the funds.
Okay, very good. And with it now in our, if you will, DC time during COVID, people would go to these events, they'd be held locally in a neighborhood, or the one-on-one,
Right.
They'd show up at your office and, meet with, Danielle or Mary, there at the event, and the rest of your staff. How are you guys handling it now, since we're not supposed to be having really any sort of, it's all social distancing, so we can't sit in that same office?
So the sad, I'm going to start with the bad news. The bad news is that this is home buying season. So we had already several events scheduled for the months of March and April that unfortunately had to be canceled due to the circumstances. The good news is that we were authorized to provide remote counseling, remote education services by our funders. Our funders have been behind us from the very beginning, and they have given us the opportunity to continue our mission by providing remote services. So we are conducting group sessions. We had a very solid turnout for the month of April, and people are starting to get excited about May as well. All of our events are posted on Eventbrite, and people can register from there, and we will take them to the Zoom webinar. That's how we're conducting our sessions.
Oh, nice. So everything's through Zoom. It's all automated. People can just link in and, go to the session, and it's there, and
right.
There we are. Okay, good.
I have this memory of people having to come out, because we've been doing this even throughout winter. So people during the cold months, people will have to come out of home, get dressed on a Saturday. Maybe there was snow on the ground, whatever. Now you can do this from the comfort of your house. It doesn't require any traveling. It doesn't require any engaging. You can just be watching the presentation, interacting as much as you want to, and then get the information that you need to get out of these sessions.
All right, and that's the class that we're talking about now is the initial class. It's the 4-hour class. And then from there, step 2 is they do the one-on-one financial counseling.
That will be taking place on a different date and time. So we keep track of attendance, and then once attendees have provided an intake packet, we follow up with them to schedule the one-on-one session.
All right, great. And I'm sure you guys have certain, you have a list of realtors, you have a list of, vendors in the area as well, lenders, people who they can talk to and decide who they want to work with and how.
Only the best
So
of the best.
there
You
we
were one
go.
of
There
them,
we
Phil.
go. There we go. Well, we thank you. We try. We try. That's, we're all there because I think Shakira, at one of the very first meetings, said this is a team effort. You have a
Right.
team of professionals working with you, dressing to the buyers. You've got a realtor, you've got a lender, and you have the Urban League. And between the three of us, we're going to get you your goal of buying that house, which is great.
Correct.
Yep.
Yeah,
Yep.
that's what we always, you've heard me on those sessions. I always start with this is about information. This is about empowerment. Whether you want to buy a house in a month or 12 months or 2 years, this program is open to anybody and anyone who's seeking information, more knowledge about the home buying process. There is a realtor, a lender, housing counselor, homeowner inspector, an insurance agent talking about the home buying process.
Okay. How many people are benefiting from this program overall? Like, do you have an idea of, how many people may actually be able to take advantage of the grant and be able to purchase a home because of it this year?
So last February, we were told that they had allocated 8 million.
Okay.
And they do it in increments of $10,000 being the cap, but not everybody's getting $10,000.
Right.
Obviously, again, the city continues to recognize the need and the success of this program, so they have reallocated funds for this particular purpose.
Good, good. And what are some positive outcomes that you see? Because again, we've kind of had to change, and you were talking about how we're doing it now virtually through Zoom calls, which is different than what we were doing. What are some of the positive outcomes you're seeing with this right now, with this whole new process of how we're doing things?
I think the industry, or at least our industry, was in the cusp of transformation, and this gave it just that little push that we needed to venture in this remote type of setting. Realistically, we're all living our busy lives, and if we can connect with you and you can connect with us while you are taking care of other stuff, what you are not having to travel an hour to meet with us, then that's a win for you and for us. We get a happier client, and you're just more satisfied, more motivated, because you are not running around trying to get your head wrapped around these processes. So it's a happy feeling that we're getting when a lot of those clients who've never been exposed to some of these technologies or some of these processes find the satisfaction and how the easiness of how things can be done without necessarily having a face-to-face contact.
Yeah, exactly. We're all, as advanced as I know in our business we thought we were. We're now doing things that we never, we're doing, virtual notaries. That's on the plan right now, of doing, e-notaries now, which I think overall as an industry is going to help us in the state of Pennsylvania. So we foresee that as a big plus.
I think there are some exciting things that are happening. It's again a happy, sad, but there are some good things that are coming out of this, and people are realizing that some processes just needed improvement. And this, what a better time to do it than now.
Yep, exactly. As probably one of my last questions as this, do you have, what recommendations do you have or you'd like to share, with our viewers today, related about this or even other services that the Urban League could potentially provide?
Well, my first recommendation is the same one that everybody keeps making. Stay healthy, stay safe, shelter in place. Additionally, from my standpoint and what we do, this is a good opportunity, a good time to take the first step without feeling pressured into having to move fast because things are happening, because things are moving. This time of reflection has come with a blessing that is giving us all the right amount of time to think about what's going to happen next, what's coming next. So why not now? If you have thought about buying a house, but you could never make it to one of the seminars, or you never had a chance to talk to a realtor, or you have some time now to spare and to use wisely. Why not with this? Why not investing, generating wealth for you, for your family, for your descendants? This is a good opportunity.
Yeah, agreed. I think it's we're in that right moment. I know several of the people that I've talked to about the program, they can now join on a Saturday when before, maybe their job had switched them to work on Saturdays.
Right.
Now they're working, but they're working remotely and they're only working during the week. So it allows, and, for other people who might be watching, they might be on furlough temporarily until they can go back to work.
And
So now they have time.
That's not necessarily, again, for what we're trying to accomplish, that is not necessarily a bad thing. That's going to give you the time to address, maybe you need to work on your credit. And as you know, Phil, that's going to take some time.
Yeah.
Right? That's not going to happen overnight. So it's a good opportunity to look at those things.
I agree. Well, I wanted to thank you again today, Abraham, for joining us, kind of just giving us a little insight into the Urban League, the home buying, if you will, the home buying program, as well as the housing division. Yeah. With your organization. And, what I'd like to also let people know is that if you have questions, you can always go to the Urban League's website, get information there. I'll be posting after this Abraham's contact information as well, for the Division of Housing if you have questions, because they do help people if you have an issue with utilities, or if suddenly you find yourself in pre-foreclosure and you're not sure what to do, or you need help with things. They're there to help you with these services.
If I can add something to that, we were blessed enough recently to have received money from a foundation, and now we're going to be providing financial assistance directly for consumers.
Yeah.
So we have the capacity to give some grants to people in need of assistance with groceries, utilities, etc. And that is going to be handled by the housing department at the Urban League of Philadelphia.
That's awesome. That's awesome, because that's even news to me. So that's thrilling to hear.
Yeah, it's not fully out there, but we're just finishing the details. And
good. Well, you may get a lot of requests right now,
hopefully,
where people need the help. So that's what it's there for. All right. Well, Abraham, again, thank you very much for your time today. We appreciate it.
Likewise.
Great. And as I said to everybody, Abraham's information is going to be there. We're also going to put a link to the upcoming, Eventbrite happenings. If you're interested in the grant program and doing and applying for the housing grant, you actually need to attend one of these seminars. So you might as well take opportunity while opportunity.
Step one.
Yep, step one. Step one. So we got to start with that first step. So, all right, Abraham, thank you very much. I appreciate your time.
Thank you so much, Phil. Likewise. Thank you so much. Stay safe.